And the data's getting more frightening by the day. Across the world, more and more countries are following in our polluted tracks. China's economy has grown at around 10% every year for the last 15 years. The result has been an explosion in consumption. Around 250 million people now enjoy a relatively affluent lifestyle, roughly the same number as the entire population of the United States. Consumerism in the Western world took 2 centuries to develop. In China, it's taking less than a decade. This may be great news for a country emerging from centuries of poverty, but it comes at a serious cost. China is planning to build 10 new airports and roughly 35 new coal-fired power stations every year for the next 5 years. Car sales have also increased dramatically. There are now 1,000 new cars on Beijing's roads every single day. By 2015, there will be more cars in China than in the whole of the United States. So if China ever achieved the same level of car ownership as the United States, with its much bigger population, they would need to import more oil every day than is produced in the entire world every year.
This is what I call impossibilism, because it literally can't be done. It just isn't possible to extend the American dream into every single corner of the planet. It won't work.
If all 6 billion people here on Earth were to consume at the same level as we ourselves do here in the UK, we would need 2 more planets to provide all the necessary energy, soil, water, and raw materials to make that possible. But it's not just the planet we're damaging. Western multinationals are competing ferociously with each other to keep their consumers happy with ever lower prices. And producers in developing countries are suffering as a result. Sweatshops, child labor, dangerous working conditions, scandalously low wages. The bottom end of the global market is a grim and degrading place for millions of people. But the irony is that even in the rich world, consumerism blights millions of lives too. Research has shown that once our incomes rise above a certain level, happiness has very little to do with the size of our bank balance.
There's a simple reason for this. Happiness is not a question of absolute wealth, it's a question of relative wealth. In other words, how wealthy are you relative to other people? These days, just getting richer isn't the point. You've got to be better off than your neighbours, better off than your work colleagues, better off than all those people you read about or see on the telly.
So this relentless pressure to earn more and buy more is ultimately self-defeating. What most of us crave is to feel safe and secure, to feel connected to others, to be part of a community, to feel good about our real selves, not just about our image. But consumerism cannot meet those needs. People who are driven predominantly by material goals, by money, status, in-your-face affluence, are likely to enjoy life less than those driven by goals such as good relationships, satisfying work, real quality of life. So what can we do about this?
Consumer-driven capitalism, in all its brute force, is the only economic show in town. There's no political alternative around the corner to replace it, for the foreseeable future at least. So we have to make consumerism work better. Better for us, better for other people, better for the planet. And we don't have much time to do that.
Consumerism can be redirected. And it's happening already. Let's start with what individuals can do. For one thing, it is possible to opt for a different work-life balance. Thousands of people every year are escaping the rat race by downshifting, to spend more time with families and friends. They're trading in a higher income for a higher quality of life. And even if we can't do that for personal or financial reasons, we can live our present lifestyles more ethically.
We can all learn to consume more responsibly as individuals, taking the train, for instance, when possible instead of the car. But even with the best of intentions, we often find ourselves trapped in unsustainable lifestyles, having to commute in and out of towns and cities to afford somewhere to live, unable to avoid all that wasteful packaging in supermarkets. We're all going to have to try just a bit harder.
The really good news is that the technologies already exist to enable us to radically change our individual lifestyles and become more environmentally friendly. The problem is persuading people to make use of them. So I'm on my way to Sutton in Surrey to visit the UK's first and still best known sustainable housing project. BedZ, the Beddington Zero Energy Development, is sited on reclaimed land. Built 5 years ago, it's designed to show that eco-construction and a green lifestyle can provide a good quality of life and be affordable too. Building materials come from local, renewable or recycled sources. Energy efficiency is an absolute priority. Heat and electricity are fueled by tree waste, and each house has solar panels and triple glazing. Rainwater is recycled. Domestic appliances are water efficient and low energy. And there's a car share scheme that residents really do make use of. Puran Desai co-founded BedZ and has lived here from the start.
We all had to work incredibly hard to get this project off the ground. And here, we're going quite a long way to creating what is a vision for a One Planet Living community. I think within 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we will see very energy efficient homes fitted with energy efficient appliances, many more with some level of integrated renewable energy generation, whether that's solar panels or solar hot water panels or wood heating systems, or even perhaps some wind turbines on the roof. So, we will see many more of them being incorporated. But we also got to remember that actually, it is our whole lifestyle that counts. And for instance, if you live here and take one overseas, trip to Australia, one flight to Australia, it's as much as 8 years of carbon savings here.
One flight, one
flight,
return flight to Australia.
Yeah,
Bloody
that sort
hell.
of figure.
Sorry. Even I'm a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, so you start getting the scale of the issues. So we have to think about our whole lifestyles. We can't just think about energy efficient homes or sustainable food or increasing recycling. We have to think of it in a much more holistic way.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, BedZ was a real pioneer, and it's still very inspirational today. There hasn't been a lot of progress since then, however, not many new developments of this kind. But things are now beginning to change. With rising energy prices, growing awareness about climate change, people have got the message. The truth is, however, that every new housing development, like this one here, is going to have to achieve the same levels of energy efficiency and of low consumption lifestyles as BedZ.
As the world's resources become scarcer and energy becomes much more expensive, developments like BedZ are going to make economic as well as ethical sense. New, much more efficient technologies are not the crackpot thinking of green zealots.